Welcome to the Airfleet Debrief. Our goal here is to share something B2B marketers can use in 15 minutes or less. And I've found another marketer who has taken me up on the challenge. Tim, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm a coach to marketing directors. I run a private coaching group for them to help them crush their goals and advance their career. And this is what we do is we share what works, what's not working, and celebrate our wins. So excited to share one thing that we've seen working really well lately for B2B marketers.
I'm excited because I think all of us have heard everyone complaining about how AI has made ranking on Google even more difficult. So, Tim, tell us, what's the hack for showing up in those rankings?
Yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity now. Everyone, as you said, is turning away from SEO. They think Google's dead, Google's dying. We're searching through ChatGPT or through TikTok. And that means a lot of marketers are not paying attention to SEO, to Google. And so it's a huge opportunity right now, as everyone's turning away from it, for us to be doubling down and focusing on it. And there's this somewhat old idea that I think people have either forgotten about or not heard about, which is the featured snippet. And if that sounds weird to you, then a featured snippet is whenever you ask Google a question, sometimes you get an answer summarized at the very top that is a snippet of an article, and it just highlights the answer that you want. And those are extremely valuable for a number of reasons, but one of them being obviously that's called position 0. It's above position 1, so you're ranking at the very top. In addition, you don't have to be in the first page to earn that spot. In other words, you can publish a new article today, tomorrow, and in a week or two, you can be ranking on position 0 for a featured snippet, even if your page doesn't rank in the top 10. So this is incredibly powerful. If you can figure out where these opportunities are, which I can tell you how to do that, and then create the content in a certain way, you can earn dozens and dozens of featured snippets. Plus, every article you write, every page you create can rank for different featured snippets. So if you have a page that answers 6 or 7 questions, that one page, that one piece of content could rank for 6 or 7 different featured snippets, which means you can get a lot of traffic from a lot of the right people asking the questions that you are there to answer and getting them to come to your website. It's absolutely powerful and amazing. And I'm shocked that so many people are not taking advantage of this.
So, Tim, I've seen this used beautifully by some companies when it comes to competitive, this compared to that. I would love to hear more about scenarios, and then maybe we get into the how we need to phrase things in order for this to happen.
Absolutely. The scenarios is a great question. And I think starting with customers always, what are the questions that they're asking you already? And so this could be on social media. It could be in your reviews. Go look at the questions people ask, or competitive products. Go to G2, Capterra. What are people asking? Does this work? Does it have limits? How does it work? Go answer those questions. And then also talk to customer support. What are the questions that you're already getting about your product? Talk to sales. What are the questions and demos that people are asking? Make a giant list of those and then figure out which of these are we already answering through content and which of those are the recurring patterns and trends that we need to answer through content so we can rank for those featured snippets. The problem is a lot of these SEO tools don't show you the true volumes. They can't or they won't. And so answering questions that customers actually have is always the best place to start. Then I would look to competitors, as you said, this versus that, us versus them. And then you can even go broader than that. How do you get people to identify if they're in market? There's visible markets and invisible markets. Dean Jackson talks about this, but sometimes your customers, it's obvious they're looking for a solution. Other times it's not. If I need a new roof, you can't look at me and determine that. So what questions can you answer about someone who might be in the market for a new roof or might have an older house or might be losing their insurance because they need a new roof? Answer those questions next. And so you can expand the scope and be more broad to start to capture the right people coming to your site. So then you can capture them through email or remarket them.
So, how I'm guessing there's some kind of secret to how you need to phrase things exactly to be considered a featured snippet.
Yes, like an encyclopedia definition. This is not AI written content. This is not fluffable marketing buzzwords. You need to answer the question as quickly and succinctly as possible, like it was an encyclopedia entry. Plus, using numbers or statistics or research helps a lot. So rather than saying you should put your router somewhere in your office, you should say your router should be within 2 feet or 7 feet of your computer, something like that. But use specific numbers, use distances, use units, or cite research, percentages, statistics, numbers, reference with the source where it came from, again, as if you were an encyclopedia entry. And if you answer it in 2 or 3 sentences, that's all that shows up in the featured snippet. So you don't need to write paragraphs and paragraphs here, but have a question in your content, and then right after that, answer it. And sometimes it even helps to make that answer bold, visually bold, because Google sees that emphasis in the content, in the DOM and the structure, and that helps them identify this is a key piece of information. The last thing I'll say about that is also tables or lists. Feature snippets you've probably seen. If you say, what are the steps to do this? It'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you can summarize, here are the steps, or here's the list, or here's a table in your content, those often get ranked for feature snippets as well.
I'm so glad that you've been answering my questions as they pop in my head. So it's enough to bold the question. You don't have to make it some kind of heading.
Correct. Yes, bolding it is helpful, not always necessary. Many times you'll rank without even making it bold. And again, because your content, multiple pieces of it can rank as featured snippets, it helps to answer a bunch of questions. And in most of your content pages or pillar pages or any content you're creating, it's usually almost always the case at the bottom, helpful to have a FAQ section. And in that FAQ section, have a heading, frequently asked questions, and then list question, bold, answer, question, bold, answer. And that just helps for context when someone's actually reading the article. But then, of course, all of those have an opportunity now to rank as a featured snippet.
That's great. So why don't we go into how to more specifically find your potential for snippets outside of talking to customers?
Absolutely. There's a lot of SEO tools out there, and I'm going to create some enemies here, but my favorite is Ahrefs. So deal with it, but they're the best. And so any tool works, but use your tool of choice and go out and find. And most of these tools will show you sites that are ranking for a feature snippet right now. So that's the first place to look, is what competitors or other sites in your industry are ranking for feature snippets. What are those keywords? What are those questions? Oftentimes, those sites are ranking unintentionally for feature snippets. They didn't work hard to do that. They just happen to rank for them, which means you can write a better feature snippet, and you should. SEO is largely about stealing other people's traffic, not about ranking for new things. And so we want to find the feature snippets that are there and steal them, do a better job, create better content, create better feature snippets. That's the first place to start. The second place is, again, don't use the SEO tools, just write the answers for the questions for your customers. But in addition, you can use the SEO tools to find questions that people are asking where there's not good content. So if you search for topics or keywords and you see things like Reddit or Quora or other forums, it's a really good indication that people have questions and other people are trying to answer those questions for them. So it's an opportunity for you to show up as a featured snippet, because Google wants to give you a correct, quick, concise answer rather than having you click around and explore Reddit or Quora or some forum.
So what's your philosophy on prioritizing lower funnel keywords as opposed to higher? And by that, I mean thinking of keywords like solutions, comparisons, that sort of thing, as opposed to just general questions people are asking in the market.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's a Venn diagram here that intersects. And the one hand is kind of bottom of funnel, let's rank for stuff that'll get business. That's really important. And the other is, how do we get traffic and how do we get attention in the market? And I think the sweet spot is in the middle there. Like, how can you do both ideally? So I'll give you an example. Marketing director yesterday told me they have an insurance company and they're trying to run some content, but it's a relatively new insurance company. And so a lot of people are Googling, is company name legit? And so right now they don't rank for that. There's a lot of forums ranking for that. And it's a huge opportunity. So that's where, one, you should have a page talking about why we're legit. But two, that could be a great feature snippet, because people just want an answer. They don't want to read about how you're legit or why you're legit. You should create that content. But what Google's going to actually show people is a feature snippet that says, yes, this company has been around for 35 years, has won these awards, and has this many customers. So that's a great opportunity to quickly, concisely answer that in a longer piece of content. So then you're doing both. You're creating things that are bottom of funnel, attracting the people who are doing the research, and you're reaching a wider audience of people who are searching that. But I think always I would prioritize bottom of funnel first. But this is so easy to add on to your existing SEO efforts that if you're not answering questions, I think you're completely missing the point of Google search.
So we have a lot of companies that are new to the market. There's a lot of opportunity for them to create content, but the companies that have been around a long time, like you said, 35 years, how are you advising them to think about their content strategy and publishing content?
Yeah, great question. So one of the members of our group is an internet company, an energy and internet company in a local region. They've been around for a long time. And obviously, if you have energy in the area, you are a customer by default of this company. So they have a huge audience. They've been around for a long time, but they never had a blog before, which is pretty surprising. So about 2 years ago now, we started a blog, and this is how we kicked off the blog, was with featured snippets. And so now they rank for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of featured snippets. Their blog traffic now is, tens of thousands of users every month. And it's a great way to start things. So whether you're new or old, featured snippets is a great way to start. And if you're existing for a long time, you have a lot of content, featured snippets is a great add-on to what you're doing to expand your reach. So I would really encourage people to take this seriously and just do an audit and see what are the questions, again, that are people asking. You should always be creating content around that, about users. Marketing is about the users, the customers, not about what we think and what the tools tell us. So start there. And that's always the best content to create, period, full stop. But then look for the other opportunities. There's so much opportunity in search right now. And like I said, people are leaving it. People are banning it because they think AI is taking over and all this stuff is going to change. It's not. And I'll just step on my soapbox for 1 second more, which is behavior of customers doesn't change quickly. We're in this bubble where we think AI has revolutionized everything, and it has to some degree, but user behavior doesn't change. And Google is such a colloquial term, and it's on our phones and everything. People are not going to change. This is like the people who think VR and headsets is going to be the new thing. You're not going to see a bunch of people walking around with headsets for the next 5 years. And Google will be the same. People will keep Googling for the next couple of years, which means take search seriously.
I love it. Tim, fantastic. Where can people find you online to network? And if you want to link any resources, happy to put that in the event page.
Absolutely. Thank you. 2 places. One is LinkedIn. I post 6 times a week on LinkedIn, advice, content, and things you can use. So go check me out there on LinkedIn. And I just launched a new podcast called the Marketing Director Daily. And it is a daily podcast 5 times a week for marketing directors to learn how to crush their goals and advance their career. And of course, I have a coaching group for marketing directors. If you're interested in that, feel free to reach out.